So welcome for today's class of mathematics. Today's question is for class 9th mathematics, statistics, okay, chapter 14 statistics, exercise 14.1, question number 1 and 2 I will be solving today. So the first question number 1 is give 5 example of data that you can collect from a day-to-day life. Classify the data in question number 1 above as primary or secondary, okay. Take down the question. Give 5 example of data that you can collect from day to day in your life, okay, day to day life. So let me start. First let me give you all. The first one is number of fans. Write down. Number of fans. So number of fans in your class, this is the first example. Let me give you all the second example, okay. That will be number of students in your class, okay. So I can write down the second one, number of students in your class, and the third one let me write down number of cars in a village. So have you all written the third one, number of cars in a village? The fourth one is ration bill of your house, and the fifth one is class result obtained, class result made by teacher. So here class result made by teacher. Sixth one is election result obtained from television. Write down television or newspaper. Okay, next is seventh one. Which one it is? Sixth, seventh. Daily temperature. Daily temperature of a city. Next is the literacy rate. Literacy rate obtained from educational survey. So what is given to you all? The eighth one is literacy rate obtained from educational survey. So in the question it was only asked give 5 examples of the data that you can collect from day to day life, okay. So I have collected total 8 datas I have given you all. You all can write any 5 datas. The first one is number of fans in your class. Second one is number of students in your class. Third is number of cars in a village. Fourth one is ration bill of your house. Fifth one is class result made by teachers. Sixth is election result obtained from television or newspaper. Then seventh one is daily temperature of a city, and the eighth one is literacy rate obtained from educational survey. So I hope. Now let us see the question number 2 over here. It says that classify the data in question number 1 above as a primary or secondary data. But before that we need to see the definition of the primary data. Data collected by the investigator herself or himself with a definite objective in her or his mind is called primary data. Next, moving towards the secondary data, information gathered from a source which already had the information stored is your secondary data. So you'll have to understand. First, you'll have to understand what is the primary data and what is the secondary data first. Then, moving towards the question number 1, that is, here is the question number 1. Number of fans in your class is a primary data because the data collected by the investigator herself or himself with a definite objective in her or his mind. So, number of fans in your class is a primary data. Second, number of students in your class, again it is a primary data. Number of cars in a village, again it is a primary data, okay. Next is what? Ration bill of your house. Ration bill of your house, again it's a primary data, okay. Fifth one is class result made by the teacher. So the information was already gathered from a source. Okay, while preparing the result, first she corrects the paper, she gives you the marks. Okay, from that source she will write the marks, okay, on the result. Okay, so class result made by the teacher. So information was gathered from a source which already had the information stored. Okay, so this is a secondary data. Next, election result obtained from television or newspaper. Again, it is a secondary data. Okay. Next, 7th one, daily temperature of the city is a primary data because the data was collected by the investigator herself or himself with a definite objective in her or his mind. Okay. Now, literacy rate obtained from the educational survey. Literacy rate obtained from educational survey. Okay. So, meaning all the data was already gathered. The information was already gathered from a source which already had that information stored. So, it is a secondary data, right? Now, primary data was collected by the investigator, it says, and herself or himself with a definite objective in her or his mind. And secondary data was information gathered from a source. Okay, it is gathered from a specific source which already had the information stored. So I hope you have understood the definition of the primary and secondary data along with the exercise 14.1 question number 1. Okay, so you'll have to only classify whether it is primary or secondary, that we have done. So I hope you have understood both, and thanks for watching. I hope you all have understood both question number 1 and 2 as well. Okay, and if any doubts, queries, you all can comment below, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share with your friends.